The gentlemen to the right of me, all three of them are kind of like, are we on yet? We're on, yes. We are on. We are live from the Plymouth Life Centre as we do more live broadcasts from the Devon Business Show 2025. And my word, it's been a very, very busy day. I shudder to think how many people have been through these doors. And actually, come to think of it, how many people have actually interviewed today? It feels like I'm doing one of those like telethons. We should be doing this for charity.
I know a good charity.
Do you know a good charity, Tom?
Do
you know a good charity? Yeah, I bet you do. So today, in this particular segment, we're going to be talking about health, well-being, fitness and sport and the important role that plays in having a balanced lifestyle, especially if you're doing something like, I don't know, running a business, for example. With me, well, in fact, I'll get our gentleman to introduce himself. Joe, if you tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do?
So my name's Joe. I am the Media and Partnerships Officer at the Devon FA, so the governing body for football in Devon. Lived in Devon all my life, grew up in North Devon, and now work for the Devon FA in Ewan Abbott.
Nice. And then who's in the middle?
That'll be me. I'm Tom Lavis, CEO of YMCA Plymouth and Discovery College. Born and bred in Plymouth, may I add. So I'm in the right place.
Yeah. You're holding your headphones like a 1980s pop singer.
I keep thinking I'm a DJ. Let me live my dream, please.
Yeah, we'll get you some depth.
It's been talking about 5 minutes.
Yeah. You kind of live in the vibe there, aren't you?
Absolutely,
yeah, okay.
through and through.
Yeah, okay. And at the end, Will, you're going to talk any sense into him?
I'll try.
Yeah. Okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
Will, Active Health Manager here at Plymouth Active, born and bred Plymouth as well.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk about the importance of health and well-being when you're running a business, and health and well-being can take many different forms. I'll start with Will, because here at the Plymouth Life Centre, you pretty much can cater for every different form of health and well-being in sport and outlet that people could want.
We really can. Being such a large facility, we do host so much. So this hall alone is like one of the largest in the southwest, which can hold events like this, but also football, walking, netball, you name it, we run it. And obviously the pool, we've got a 50-metre pool, dive pool, which has hosted many athletes, but also even though we host lots of like top athletes in sports, we also make sure that our facilities like Tom's as well are open for everyone in the community, which is what we're really trying to achieve here as well. And
actually, I've really got to congratulate you on this hall, because when I mention to people, we're at the Life Centre, they kind of like, there's a natural association with sport and activities like that, which is, fair enough, that's what it was built for. But this kind of application works really well. There are obviously other venues in the city, and they're all really, really great. But because of the very nature of these stands being rectangular and the size of the actual hall being rectangular, and the fact that this space is opened up to be bigger than the public would normally see it, my word, it's actually quite a space. I mean, how many stands have we got in here? A lot.
Too many,
but yeah, quite a few. Events like this, is this important for the Life Centre in terms of its public outreach?
Definitely. It's just shows us as a facility that we can host these things, but also a lot of people today, if they've not seen this room like this before, actually, or not even seen some facilities that we have, it also showcases them the other facilities we have, like the swimming pools or the gym, etc., at the cafe, the climbing. So also people that might not be interested initially, but by coming here they can see what we can offer. It's brilliant. Yeah, and actually, you can't see it on camera, but in front of us, or behind the camera up high, there's a gallery or galley or a walkway, and that's where we're broadcasting from last year. But we come down here, so we're a bit closer to the action. But I keep seeing people look over. Obviously, they're all fans of Tom. That's what it'll be. They're all thinking, he's got a fan base.
He's got a fan base. Tom, YMCA, that's all about connecting communities with activities, isn't it?
Yeah, very much a community organisation, and I look at health and well-being kind of on two fronts. We've got our customers that we work with and our staff, and health and well-being is important either side of that. So if I look at our users, our customers, I often refer to the YMCA as a community organisation, but a cradle to grave. So I don't care what age you are, anyone in your family should be able to walk through our doors and find something to do around activity, health and well-being. So our youngest members are in our soft play. They're 0 years old, bumbling around the soft play, having a great time, getting hot, getting sweaty. That's activity, that's good for their well-being. And then our oldest gym member is 96, and he's an ex-boxer, and I can tell you what, he could take me no problem whatsoever. So the extremities there of users in terms of age alone before you then get into the multiple range and diversity of our community, it's really important that they can come in and feel welcome. And then if I switch onto the other side, our staff, you know, it's a really, really challenging job working in the third sector, and you start with one hat and you end up with many. That's how it tends to work in the charity sector. So they are under a lot of pressure, a lot of time constraints, and therefore, as an employer, you've got to look after their well-being too. So one of the things we introduced very early was giving them free access to the facilities, so that in their spare time they can bring their families and they can use the gym and they can take their kids in the soft play and they can use the actual turf, play some badminton. All of that's good for them and their kind of siblings and their partners. So you've then got a bit of a family health and well-being around it too. And then even if you take it a little bit further outside of the activity side of it, we have healthcare plans for all our staff so that they are encouraged to look after themselves. And if you've got a healthy staff team, they're turning up, they're happy, they want to be there, they're energetic, they can do their jobs better. That's a win-win for me.
Let's talk about your facilities for a second. Obviously, with the Life Centre, a lot of people are, familiar with the Life Centre. You're pretty much, on the pedestal. You're up there as being, one of the best facilities in the southwest. But also the YMCA. I went to a net body combat. Kind of like it's basically an excuse to do silly things and disguised as networking. Let's put it that way. And I had a look at your gym, and I think the last time I went to the YMCA where you are in Plymouth was when I was at school. And it was, a bit kind of like run down, sweaty, typical what you think of it as being.
Yeah.
It ain't like that now.
No.
You've got some smart stuff.
Yeah. We've been on a huge wave of growth and development over the last 5 years. We are in the region of investing nearly £2 million now in that building. That, quite rightly, as you said, was at best a town hall mentality, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
So we've had everything from state-of-the-art gym, new changing rooms, reception area. We've got new coffee bar, state-of-the-art immersive spin studio. We have an interactive dance studio, which is where you would have done your body combat in actual fact.
Not the dance bit, of course.
I'm sure you'd be very, very good at dancing. And that's activity, so very on topic now I add. So it's a completely different place, and now we're currently working with Sport England on a full redevelopment of Sports Hall 2. So that's a £400,000 investment, starting with a new roof, brand new junkers floor, nicely painted throughout, new doors, new fire doors. Quality is something that we've really pushed in the last 3 or 4 years to get away from that stigma of a that'll do mentality, because we're a charity, that'll do. And actually now we are a very, very high quality, high end provision, but we offer it at really affordable prices and in many cases free. And that's our social enterprise model in a nutshell.
Excellent. Joe, let's bring you in here. With regards to the FA in the region, you do a lot to connect businesses with sport as well, don't you?
Yeah, so we're always looking to, obviously we are the governing body for football in county, which means we just want to make football for everyone. Football is a great outlet and a great conduit for health and well-being, and positive health and well-being. And we're always looking to collaborate and team up with businesses, other organisations, venues like the YMCA and the Life Centre, and how can we work together to create a positive environment for football in Devon and enhance people's health and well-being. And I think that's what's so important about events like today for us, is not just from a commercial point of view, but aligning each other's goals and working collaboratively to achieve them.
Well, so the Life Centre is pretty much, it's in the city centre of Plymouth, and people from across the entire region come here to participate in sporting events and to go to the gym, etc. When you apply health and well-being as a concept to the diary that a business owner or a business leader might have, you'll often get the excuse, I haven't got time for that. I can't fit it in. My PA says, there's not a slot available. It's such an important part of your life, though, isn't it, to actually have some kind of outlet, especially when you're in the thick of it?
Oh, massively. Activity as a whole, it can do wonders for you, not just physically, but in terms of mental health as well. So when people say time, I'm pretty sure Tom and his team come up with the same thing with like referral programs we both run. People go, I haven't got time for this, I can't do that. It's about making time and making what's important to you. We all are all busy, but we've got to make time for ourselves. It's not being selfish, it's kind of giving yourself that self-respect, actually, to go, take time away, like work on the diary, your work diary, whatever it may be, to kind of make sure you, even if you're fitting in a little bit here or there, at least anything is better than nothing. And no doubt, when you start doing little bits, you're going to start feeling the benefits, be that better sleep, but stress management, whatever it may be, and you're going to be more productive, which is what Tom touched on earlier about giving his staff access to facilities. We do the same here. Like, if we can give our staff chance to use facilities, then we're going to get better output.
Yeah, Tom, I mean, you sit on many boards and you kind of connect with other leaders within the city. Do you think that some of them could, to put it bluntly, could benefit from a bit of self-love?
Yeah, the classic I've used in the past is make time for it now while you can, because in the future, it's going to make time for you when you haven't got a choice, because you're going to be forced to look after your health and well-being when you pick up a health condition. And actually, that's a bit too late. That's like a responsive thing rather than a preventative thing.
Yeah.
So if you start making time for it now, and when I say making time, a bit like Will was alluding to, I'm not saying you have to give up 4 hours for a round of golf. I'm saying, why don't you change your work pattern? So one thing I do, every lunchtime, 25, 30-minute walk around the centre of the YMCA. I've got a couple of little circuits, and I do my phone calls, so I save up my phone calls for that period. So I go for a walk, I'm still working, but I'm doing it while on the move. It's so subtle, has zero impact on the business, but I'm consciously making that effort. Now, there's not many, whatever level you're at, exactly, it's not many who couldn't fit that in some way. You could do 15 minutes if you wanted to, but you've got to make time for it now, so that you are creating a really good habitual routine where health and well-being is on your mind. And another thing I've started, I picked this up about 3 or 4 years ago, something I read, and I'd love to pass it on to execs in particular, is they meet with their management team all the time, usually one-to-one, maybe small groups. So I introduced about 3 years ago something called walk and talk with my management team. So rather than sit in a room behind a desk and have a meeting, you take your agenda via your phone and you go for a walk. Now you have the same meeting, the same conversations. Actually, it's less threatening because you're side by side rather than sat opposite a desk, which can be quite intimidating. But you take that meeting on a walk. Again, that's just instilling really good habits into your team. What you'd hope is then they do that with their team, because they're not going to be productive in anything else. They're going to be sat in a room. So it's not like they're going to be busy working in other parts of your business. So a walk and talk is just such a subtle, easy thing you can do in your daily work life. Has zero impact on your business, great impact. Because you add up all those 25, 30 minutes over the course of a year, that is a lot of time you've spent being active.
What you say makes perfect sense, but you will always have, and it's probably the smaller businesses where the leaders or the business owner or the entrepreneur sometimes feels a bit guilty about taking time out. It's kind of like, I should be working now because my team's working. I'm going to do that phone call on the trot, but maybe my colleagues might think I'm actually just off for a jolly.
That's culture.
How do you?
That's
Will,
that's
you
culture.
I'm literally going to use the same
Okay.
word. That's just culture.
Okay, go on, Will.
I was just going to say, it's culture. It's what, if you're at the top, like, if you start doing that, like Tom said, you build it through the companies down, and it's having open discussions with your team, and or he's not just disappearing, actually, he's going out there to make a call while moving, and it's just having them discussions with your team.
And don't be scared to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, if I walk past my receptionist, I'm out with Stacey on a walking talk, we'll be back in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they now know what that means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also then, again, that culture is going, you want your junior managers to be doing that with their team. I'm not going to question them when they walk out the door, because I know that's the way I would do it.
Yeah.
So you're just cascading that culture down amongst your team. That health and well-being is really, really important. And hopefully that then trickles right across the organisation.
And Joe's nodding in agreement, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Your
it
views.
helps build trust. And so I think trust is easier to build when you've got that positive outlook, that positive environment you've created through, as these guys said, a good culture.
What kind of role does teamwork play? As in, when I say teamwork, sporting teamwork,
Yeah.
because you get to learn certain things when you're participating in sporting activities that evolve around a team, that are kind of transferable skills to the office environment, the work environment.
Absolutely. There's nothing in our office that gets done without us collaborating as a team 90% of the time. There are so many skills. Communication is probably the biggest one. If you don't talk on a football pitch, you're not going to get very good results. If you don't talk in the office and nobody knows what each other are doing, then it's not going to work. So I'd say communication is probably the big one. And it's also it teaches you leadership, which is you work your way up the ladder sort of thing, as I sort of am at this moment in time. You're able to almost gain experience without realising you're gaining experience. It's subtle, as these guys have said, but it just enables you to gain experiences without really having to like slog at it.
Mhm.
You're doing something you enjoy, which if you're not overthinking it, it's probably pretty good on your health and well-being as well, your mental health.
Yeah. In a moment, I'm going to ask each of you for your top tip or takeaway, all right, to business leaders or to anybody wishing to take on a more health and well-being focused lifestyle. But before I come to that, that's where I drop the seed so you can get your brain working, because I know what it's like being put on the spot. But before I go to that, Tom, I'd like to talk about your event at the weekend. You had a very a really good, glamorous, positively glamorous in all the right ways weekend event on Saturday to celebrate the best of young people in the region. Tell us a bit about that.
So at the weekend, YMCA Plymouth ran the Community Awards, Plymouth Community Awards, sponsored by Door Care Southwest, and it's the sponsors that enable us to do this, where we are celebrating and advocating the very, very best people in the Plymouth community who are helping the Plymouth community, but often go unrecognised. Very much on a voluntary basis, they give up their time, some give up their money to really inspire and help the people around them in those communities. And it was just the most heartwarming couple of hours. You come away and you just feel like, oh, that's so uplifting. And I think I said to you just off air earlier, I come away from that, and I had a bit of a tough week last week for a multitude of reasons, and when you come away from that and you hear their stories and the challenges that they've overcome, you can't help but say to yourself, you have no idea what a bad day actually is. So yeah, it was a fabulous evening, celebrating and advocating these amazing people who we are so fortunate to have in our Plymouth community.
Fantastic, and I hear it was a very good event too.
It was a very good event, and
all
I've had
the
lots
right
of
ways.
positive feedback, about that. But so it should be,
Yeah.
because they deserve that. Everyone that gets nominated and through to the final gets a complete free night out, free meal, and just that's great because there's no barriers,
Yeah.
and that's what we try and provide, is that opportunity without barriers. So yeah, brilliant night. Can't wait to do it again.
Fantastic. Here's next year. So I did say that I'd ask you for your top tip or takeaway. Joe, since you're to my immediate right, I'm going to put you on the spot first, sir.
It's quite an overarching one, but for me, I think it's about creating that environment where positivity, positive health, positive well-being can thrive. If you're able to provide that platform, so for us, it would be providing a platform for our 30,000 footballers in the county or our 600 referees. If you can provide a positive environment for them to thrive, for them to flourish, and that applies to our staff as well. Our team at the county ground we've got a really good environment. If you can provide that environment for your workforce to flourish, then I think it's you're on to a winner.
Nice. Will?
Movement, whatever it is. I think whatever you want to do, just do it. Be that gardening, walking. It doesn't have to be what everyone thinks it has to be, like gym, swim, or playing football, whatever it may be. Any sort of movement is better than none. The more we do now, better later on, as Tom said. We're all living for longer, but actually, not to put a doom on it, but we're living for longer, but in worse health.
Yeah.
So the more we do now, whatever that is, movement, just do it. And don't be afraid to ask. There's enough places like us, YMCA, if anyone out there, if anyone has any questions about anything, just come in and ask the people that know.
Do you know what I did in my office? It's really bad,
Go on.
or kind of really good. And when we moved to new places, I put the photocopier stroke printer the furthest point away from where everyone sat,
Yeah.
just because it makes you walk. Because it used to be in the middle, or indeed under individuals' desks. Like, no, we don't need our own ones. We just put that right down there. And I do get, why is it so far away? Well, because of the movement.
All that adds up, like Tom said earlier, that adds up over a year.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tom,
For me, really simplified. Get busy being active now. Look after your health and well-being now before your health and well-being gets taken away from you.
very well said, very well said. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. And we've got a couple more, or even maybe just one more. Well, we'll soon find out. Live stream to come from the Devon Business Show 2025 here at the Plymouth Life Centre. And before we fade this one out, I'd just like to pass on our utmost gratitude and thanks to the Plymouth Life Centre here for making us so comfortable. They really do pull out the stops. In fact, they pull out the nets and they pull out all the fences and everything just to make this all possible. Thank you very much to the team there.